Yeah, good morning. Can you just refresh me real quick? How many students do we have on?
Oh, I'm sorry, Michael, because you can't see. We just have one right now.
Oh, okay, and that's Andrew. Okay, well, Andrew, nice to meet you, and you've got our undivided attention, and we're happy that you're able to join as well. So I'm one of the managers of workforce development at BGE, and what we've been doing is talking to students about career opportunities in energy. And so one of the things we talk about are careers versus jobs. And essentially, a career basically is something that's an occupation or profession that is a lifelong career path. Whereas typically a job is very, very focused and limited on a particular task. And so what we're talking about are career opportunities at BGE. And I can't see the screen, but I'm assuming that Kitty has the slide up that talks about why careers in energy. And so essentially, when you look at the energy field or the energy sector, energy fuels the entire economy. So what this means is that every sector of our economy requires or uses some form of energy in order to function. Energy is also an economic driver, and that means that it fuels production, it creates jobs. It is a very basic or foundational to our economy. The second bullet speaks to demand for energy continues to grow, and so as opportunities increase, production increases, and as production increases, we see that energy use continues to rise. And so energy is an essential requirement or a need for every industry, regardless of it being large businesses, small businesses, residential homeowners, customers, et cetera. And also what we know, Andrew, is that based on recent studies, electricity consumption across all sectors, again, small businesses, large businesses, residential, et cetera, are going to continue to increase. And that's even with energy efficiency measures that are in place where we want to reduce the amount of energy that's being used or use it more efficiently, but we still know that because of the demand that's placed on production, et cetera, that usage is going to continue to grow. So with that growth, we know that career opportunities are going to continue to grow. The next bullet is the industry is broad to fit many interests. So when you look at the utility industry and you look at our sector and our business at BGE, there are many, many different types of career occupations that exist. And you'll see a slide later that will show different pictures of people in different types of occupations. And the industry is also one that is continually evolving. And so what this means is that the way that our industry looks today is very different from how it looked a few years ago. And some examples include, for example, you might be familiar with smart meters. Smart meters are the electric meters the little devices that sit on a person's home on their electric meter to measure their electric consumption, or on their gas meter that measures their gas consumption. And so before we had smart meters, we had meter readers that had to drive by people's homes and businesses and take readings in that manner, as well as individuals that would walk up to a meter and would actually have to read a meter. Well, today, smart meters essentially transmit signals directly to our control center or in other data centers. We also see that there's virtual reality and augmented reality that's used in training and testing simulations. And you might be familiar with the headsets that people wear when they are playing games, virtual reality games. Well, we use these in, like I mentioned, different types of settings where we're either trying to simulate a design or we're training people before they actually go out into the field. And we also see electric vehicles on the roads, electric charging stations in parking lots and garages. So these are things that are very, very common today. Just a few years ago, they weren't as common. So again, this is how the industry is continuing to evolve and continuing to develop. And we also see the expansion of alternative energy sources. So you see on people's rooftops now, you see solar panels. So again, these are just a few of the changes that we see coming about. That next slide that I was referring to should read opportunities exist. And that slide shows people in different types of occupations within our industry. So it shows people in, various trades, linemen, mechanics, automotive technicians. It shows people in administrative and executive roles, media and marketing, communications types of roles. So all of these roles are part of the work environment at BGE and in other utilities as well. Now, for the purpose of this discussion, we're really focusing on the skills trades, right? So, our workers basically include, overhead line mechanics, underground personnel, gas mechanics, diesel mechanics, and fundamental to these roles are education and training in the trade. So, what is your trade, Andrew?
Oh, machining and manufacturing.
Okay, all right. So, based on your education, based on your training, you can probably go into any number of areas within BGE, depending upon what you want to do. So it's basically just acquiring that knowledge and those skills and getting that hands-on practice that would basically serve to provide you with the foundation in order to move into any number of occupations at BGE. So that's just a little bit of background, and I'm going to hand it back to Kitty, and then of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them, and we can answer those questions. So Kitty, I'm going to hand it to you.
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, so like Michael said, this slide that's up right now talks about sort of the pathways that exist at BGE based on your trade. And so you said mechanical construction. So really you could go into our gas, meter installation, overhead lines, transmission substation, all of those skills that you're learning are transferable across our departments at BGE, because when you join our organization, we don't expect you to sort of know everything. We have a robust training program that teaches our new hires how to work properly and safely on our equipment. And then did another student join? No.
Yes, we have several other students who have joined. Let me see, who do we have in here? We have Tamari Minor.
Okay, Tamari, what is your trade?
Hello, my trade is masonry.
Masonry?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, awesome. So yeah, another really important skill that can be transferable across different departments. So what we've seen is we've hired 18 people out of our high school internship program. So they'll start as an intern. They'll intern during their senior year after graduating, and those who are performing well end up staying on with our organization and can be hired into roles making around $50,000 a year, not including overtime at the age of 18. So we sort of see those opportunities really exist within our fleet. So automotive, working on all of their vehicles and trucks, underground lines, which is an electric distribution, just the lines that run underground, and then overhead lines. So those wires that you see above ground. And then, so how to prepare? So how to prepare beyond just for our internship program, but while we don't have a GPA requirement, it is important that you are maintaining good grades, even with being virtual. So showing up actually matters. So your attendance, how you're showing up to school, and your recommendation from your teachers go a long way for our internship program, because if you're not attending school, the chances of you showing up for your internship opportunity would also be slim. So be mindful of that. Also, your social media. So when you work for an organization like BGE, we actually have a department that investigates and can look into all of our own personal social media accounts. So just be mindful of what you're putting on Instagram and Twitter. If you are comfortable with me looking at your Instagram today, then that's totally fine. But if you're not, I would suggest that you clean it up. Yes, Andrew, I see you have a question.
Do y'all have a machine shop at BGE?
A machine shop, is that what you said?
Yes.
So we have a department called EDRU, and what they do is Equipment Diagnostic Repair Unit, and so they test all of our machinery to make sure that it's safe for our trucks and crews to work with.
Okay.
Andrew, what's your trade?
I think what the question he's referring to is Mr. Barnes speaking to, is that a couple of my friends took the test for BG&E to get hired down there as a machinist. I was under the impression that y'all do have a machine shop down there for CNC machines and stuff like that, you know.
I don't know about that in depth. Michael, do you know? I don't know if we lost him.
I think like maybe 3 or 4 of my friends took that test for y'all guys to try to get. They are machinists right now that wanted to get hired down to BG&E for machinists. I know,
Okay.
but I know a couple of my friends took the test down there, and my students are very much interested in the machine shop as well, you know.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that. Most of these opportunities, I haven't heard any of the like entry level ones that feed into that. But we have 3,200 employees, so we have tons of different departments, and that might just be one I'm not as familiar with. So I'll have to look into that. Also at BGE, something that's really important is your driver's license. So while you don't need to have a vehicle, we can provide transportation. In order to be hired into a full-time role, you have to have your graduated driver's license. So the best advice I can give you is if you don't have your permit, is go get that as soon as possible and sit for your driver's license test, because in order to be hired into one of those trainee positions I was mentioning, you have to have your graduated driver's license, which means you've held your provisional license as soon as you get it for 18 months, which is a long time. And then also, in addition to having the driver's license, at BGE, we do drug tests. So just a reminder that marijuana is a drug that we do test for. So if that were to come up in your drug test, unfortunately, that would disqualify you from opportunities with our organization. So just be mindful of what you're doing.
Kitty, can I jump in just for a quick second? Okay. So I still want everybody to know on here, and I know that we'll move forward. Make sure that you pay attention to the fact that at this current moment, what's being offered is an internship, and the skills that you had don't disqualify the program because Miss Glick at this moment is not particularly familiar with maybe a department that has your trade right away. But know that all the skills that you are learning in your trade is transferable to so many opportunities at BG&E. Please be mindful of that. The fact that you have to pay attention to detail, the fact that you're learning a lot of the precision math skills that are necessary for so many of the departments there, construction and masonry and even manufacturing. All of them are in some way intertwined. So don't just discount the fact that at this moment she's not able to say there is an actual machine shop on site. No matter what, your skills are transferable, and you want to just take all of the information in and make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to be able to go and work for a company and advance in it if you meet the qualifications. Okay.
Yeah, good point. Thank you. So like Michael said, is our opportunities really do exist, and you can move around. So people really do build a career at BGE. And so even if you were to start in an entry-level area and find another area that you are interested in, that's also an opportunity as well. So most likely this summer, we will be offering a virtual internship program. So on this slide sort of talks about what it would look like. It will be a 6-week program, and we're actually going to add driver's ed. So this summer, if you're a BGE high school intern and need driver's ed, we will put you through that during the internship program. You'll also have job readiness, the week of that, and then also the CAS test prep. So your teacher mentioned he had some friends that took the test. So that would be the CAS test, the construction and skills trade test. In order to be hired at BGE, you do have to pass that test to be hired. So we do the skills to help you take the test and be successful in passing that so that you can be hired into our organization. And then you'll have the opportunity to learn about the organization and network and learn about different departments and opportunities more in depth. So our program will start on June 28th and run most likely 6 weeks once we can get driver's ed in there, and end on August 6th. Our second option would be to do an in-person internship experience like we have offered in the past, which would be an 8-week internship program with in an in-person component where you will be working alongside crews, getting hands-on experience with different departments. Unfortunately, most likely this will not be the program we're able to offer due to COVID, but hopefully we'll be back in 2022 with an in-person program. So a couple of reminders, if you are interested in the internship program, here's sort of how the flow will work. Is today you're attending a virtual energy day with us, which is great. Thank you for joining. We also encourage you to apply to YouthWorks as well, so please be sure you're submitting an application there. And so once this meeting ends, I'll get a list from your teachers of who is interested in the program, and we'll conduct a phone interview. So someone from the workforce development team is going to give you a call, ask you about your trade, why you're interested, do you have a job, what are some extracurricular activities you're in, and then once you receive an offer for the internship program, it's not over there. It requires a lot of work. So you have to pass the background check. We need you to fill out paperwork, put in your direct deposit information. We'll help you through all of this, but it's really important that you're being responsive to our emails. And then that way we can give you the internship opportunity. In 2019, we lost 11 interns, unfortunately, because they did not respond to their emails on time, so we couldn't give them the job, even though they thought they had it. So just be mindful that you're responding and checking email, and that just goes, make sure that you have a professional email set up with your name that you're checking often. So that's all the information. I'll get a list of what students are interested in, and we'll work with you to do a phone interview just by calling your cell phone. Does anyone have any questions? I know I see we got a few more students that joined. Khalil, what's your trade?
Machining.
Awesome.
Manufacturing. Same thing.
Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad you were able to make it.
Thank
you. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
If the internship is gonna be happening in the summertime, will it be like the video chats? Will it be in the morning?
So it would be all day. You would probably be engaged Monday through Friday, or from like 9 to 4.
Okay.
So similar to school, we do provide every student with a Chromebook, a hotspot, a Grubhub gift card, a bunch of other stuff, so that they're able to work from home. But it would be expected that this would be you can have another job, but it would have to be in the evening or on the weekends, because most likely this would be Monday through Friday, like normal business hours for us, which is like 8 to 5.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, good question though.
Are juniors allowed to apply?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I know you guys have like a minute or two left in class. if you don't have any other questions, or if you think of them later, you can ask your teacher and I can see if I can answer them. And then if you are interested in the program, just let your teacher know so that we can do a virtual interview with you. Interviews, we'd like to get them done next month. So February will be here before we know it, just in a few days. All right. Well, thank you so much.